It's true as well. You got to show everybody this. This is back in October. You have the Larry O'Brien Trophy inked on your arm. How did you know it? That was a bold move.
Well, I'm a huge believer in faith. God had a plan for this team, obviously from day one, with the personnel we had, with the coaching. We just knew. We knew. We believed in each other from day one. And to get this far, to do it on this stage is phenomenal.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to the JusBallout podcast. I'm Jusnix.
I'm J Redd.
And we got a special guest here, man. My guy, Mr. Reliable, the true professional.
Yep.
One of the biggest trash talkers in league history.
Oh, yeah.
And also NBA champ, Jason Jet Terry, man. What's good, Jet?
Man, what's good? How y'all doing over there?
Man, we just chilling, man. You know, it's quarantine lifestyle over here, man.
Man, it's an adjustment for all, man. I know, uncharted territory for all of us. Something that we've never experienced in our lifetime. We've had some natural disasters, Hurricane Katrina. We've had some earthquakes, some tornadoes, especially out here in Dallas. We've also, witnessed the Twin Towers being knocked down. I mean, in my younger years. But this pandemic here is just something that's really tested a lot of people's, mental fortitude, being able to stay put, stay at home, be disciplined, so you don't endanger others. And so, it's real. A lot of people at first when it came out were like, dang, is this fake news? Or, we don't know what's going on, but it's a real pandemic. I haven't had any of my immediate family affected by it, but you hear stories. The other day in Dallas, a 17-year-old girl getting ready for graduation passed away. So it's a real deal. So hopefully everyone out there stay safe, stay healthy, and stay prayed up.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Like I said, nobody in my immediate family has been affected to it, but close friends, family have. You know what I mean? So get my prayers out to them, and hopefully they good. But just getting into some, getting some basketball talk, because that's what we do over here.
Oh, yeah.
So last year, you was with the G League situation, assistant general manager of the Texas Legends. Your very first season doing that. You won't be doing that next year. But how do you feel about this new situation? You being a big college basketball guy, actually a college basketball legend, because everybody can remember Jet in the long socks. How do you feel about these new kids coming out here and this program that's benefiting them to come in there and make some money early? This pathway program they got. How you feel about that?
Well, I think the one thing that everyone has to realize is this too is uncharted territory. It's not a proven method for success or formula for success for these young men. It's definitely a risk that they're taking. But at the same time, if you're in a situation financially where you need to assist your family members or yourself, then it's an opportunity for you. It's an opportunity to go and be on a platform where you'll have a realistic opportunity to be looked at and take your game to the next level. But it's not saying that just by making this decision that it's just going to happen. You still have to go put the work in. You're still going to have to perform at a high level. People look at the G League and like, oh, yeah, man, I can go. Man, these are 3- and 4-year veteran guys that have played overseas, have spent some time in the league, that are still aspiring to be professional NBA players. And so, you're young, you're coming out of high school. It's not for everybody. If you look at some of the greatest players that ever played the game that have come out of high school, starting with like Moses Malone, Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, these are the best of the best. So I don't want these young kids to make a decision that's going to impact the rest of their lives because they feel like, okay, if I go to the G League, then the next step is the league. Nah, you go to the G League, there might be 3-4 more steps that you have to take, to get on an NBA team. Yeah, the money may be good now, but you just settle for 150, maybe even top 500,000. That's the best guy is 500,000. Everybody else is like 150. And now for the rest of your life, it jeopardized, something that you've worked so hard for to obtain. And I don't want them to be, swayed by that dollar amount because it's just much more to it than that. Okay, say you do get to 150. So now you got to have a financial literacy course to learn how to budget and manage that 150,000. So it's a lot that goes into it. I think that these kids need to be made aware of and be knowledgeable of. Not saying if they went to college they would get that, but I know I went to college for 4 years and gained tons of knowledge and experience by just going to college. And I started to build my educational base and background. And so now I have a college degree. And since I've retired from basketball, now I want to get into coaching. You have to have a college degree to get into coaching. I mean, there's just certain things that you have to do that you need that degree. And I think if you go to the G League, now you've kind of eliminated that process. Though you can still have an opportunity to go to school, it's just going to take that much more work to get done. So, I'm an advocate of this. Every kid is his own individual, and every experience is his own experience. And so I can't tell you, Justin, how I would have did it, right? Because that's me. That's how I would have did it. But I can tell you, going to college benefited me.
Yeah, facts. Just to piggyback on that, it almost feels like, and you can give me your opinion on this, but it feel like it's hurting college basketball to a certain extent because now, these college coaches, they got to compete on a different level now. These agents were at some point, almost helping these guys out, helping coaches out. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like a different effect now. You know what I mean? Like these kids want to go get paid. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
they want to get paid, but at the same time, you got to look at it. Okay, I'm 18 years old. I mean, how much paid do I need to be? Like what realistically, when you was 18 years old, what responsibility did you have, right? To get some new shoes, to go eat whenever you want to go to the movies? Okay, what is that budget? Man, you give a kid 18 years old from the inner city of Seattle, Washington, where I grew up, or from Chicago, or from Detroit, $150,000 cash. And what do you think he's going to do with it? First of all, it's not really 150 because after taxes it's 75. Then you got your agent fees, 4% of that. So now you're really looking at about $75,000. Okay, now what? You just out here shopping and buying clothes and buying shoes. Did you invest it properly? All that's going to come into play. And so when you think about it like that, there's really not a lot of money. But at the same time, for a guy that has nothing to just get $75,000 handed to him, like what is he going to do with that? And then you're 18. Like, you're going to get a whip. Okay, now you got a whip. Now how much of that 75 you got left? It's just a tough decision, man, to make. But, I mean, it's a good one to have. To speak to what you said about college basketball, losing some of the guys they ordinarily would have had, that's a viable point. I mean, there's a lot of 5-star athletes that are looking at, like, look, I would have went overseas and got that same bag and then had an opportunity to go to the draft. So, college might not be for me. I would say realistically, guys got to really uphold their education. Like, do you really want to pursue your education and a career beyond basketball? Because that lifespan for a basketball player professionally is probably 4 to 5 years. And a lot of guys make that decision and come out early, and their shelf life in the NBA is 4 years, and then it's over. So then what's next? Like, what is your career path then? I know financially you really haven't made enough to be an entrepreneur and start your own type of deal. That's like winning the lottery in itself. But again, you can't knock the hustle. All I can do is empower, educate, and enlighten these young males and give them each opportunity as they come and give them my best sound advice.
Definitely. I think it's a world where they, can coexist with the NCAA coming out and saying they looking at letting players get paid off their likeness and little things.
Oh, man. Long overdue.
Absolutely. So I was saying, to piggyback off what you're saying, yes, your top prospects may still look at this alternative route to the G League, but I do think that, a lot of JUCO kids that maybe didn't get 4 years can now have the opportunity to do that. So I do think it's a trickle-down effect where, college can coexist. Of course, I do think they need to pass that getting paid for the likeness and little endorsements, many stuff like that. like you said, at 18, you don't need, you know, a bunch of money with your responsibilities. But if you can get a little something to where it's not those situations where a kid can't eat kind of thing, then, you know, I think you can coexist. So.
No doubt. And just to be able to have that option.
Right.
I think that's more what it is, because you think about the land of the free, the home of the brave. You know, it's opportunity based. And like you said, if you're 18-year-olds, you want to at least have that opportunity, right, you know, that to be able to do so if you choose, right? And so that would be my thing, is at least give them that opportunity. If they choose to do so, cool. I would also say, though, if they do go to the G League, why limit it? I mean, you go to the G League, you make 150, they still should be able to come back and go to college. I mean, why are we just eliminating that opportunity?
I agree.
I don't think that's fair whatsoever.
But I heard this some type of program that they actually going to, that they actually can go to school for that. Like, but I think it's almost kind of tricky, because like the actual kid that was like one of the first people to actually do it, this kid Jalen Green, they basically tailor-made it up for him. So it's like every guy's not going to be in this situation. Oh. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gave him $500,000, you know what I mean? And he can make, you know what I'm saying, he can make other stuff off endorsements. And you also converting a whole new team, you know what I'm saying, for the kid.
For the kid. He's
not the best example that you want to use, because I'm seeing decommitments every day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then you got to think on that team. Okay, think on a team. Only 5 guys could be on the court at one time, right? Mm-hmm. So you got Jalen Green. He's the guy. We're building this thing around him. So who are the other pieces? Okay, then you got your 2 and 3 year veterans that have played in the G League or have had experience, have been professional, played overseas. Okay, these guys are hungry too. They fighting for the same thing too. You know, on the team, you got to have chemistry, right? So are we playing to showcase this one kid, or what's the equal opportunity for that? Like, what is he gonna get 30 shots because we trying to get him drafted and make our thing look good, or are we still, you know, looking after the veterans that are on this team so they can get an opportunity? Because they definitely want to get opportunity now. They ain't just like, okay, we're going to get the young boy off and then, okay, everything's going to be good. So, I mean, it's a lot, man. I think there has to be a little more thought that goes into it. I think the person that you put in power, that coaches that team, that has the responsibility of player development, has to go along, because Jalen Green himself, like you said, he's an 18-year-old high school kid. There's a lot of development physically and mentally that has to go along, that a coach is going to have to, you know, be responsible for, to get him to where they projected him to be. So I just think it's a good deal, though. I mean, I see the vision. I know where Sharif is going with it. He's like, let's keep our homegrown talent here and not have, they shouldn't have to go to Australia. They shouldn't have to go to Japan or China, you know, to make a career, make a living with something they want to do. And we can provide that for them here. So I get that part of it, but I do think they got to be mindful when it comes to development, mentally and physically, of these young men, is that we have a responsibility to do. And, you know, you have to put the proper coaches in place so these guys have the right path.
And then it's like, it's kind of weird, because it seems like that all these, you know, they coming into a pro situation, you know what I mean? Where I don't know how the G League runs things as far as, like, you know, with the coaches and shoot-arounds, the practices and everything. Like, I don't think NBA coaches have a lot of tolerance, you know what I'm saying, for certain things. So it's like you taking these G League coaches and they having to change their coaching styles, which I don't know. You can answer this to tell me how they're coaching as far as, like, you know, how they instructing these. You know, like you said, there's 3-4 year guys that's been playing G League for a couple years.
The G League is interesting. And being there this past year, I gained tons of knowledge and experience. But for one, it was created to be like a farm system, kind of like baseball. So, for instance, for the Texas Legends, which is the Dallas' G League team, as a coach, you are instructed to run the exact same system as the Dallas Mavericks. So if we happen to say, okay, we want a player X to come up and spend some time with us, you don't have to reteach him. He already knows what to expect, what the system is, what plays are going to be ran. And so it's a seamless transition. And so in this particular situation, I don't think that one team is going to be tied to a particular NBA team. And it's going to be more developmental, but at the same time, like you said, still he has to be taught the game of basketball and how it's played on a professional level. And again, the teachers are going to be very important.
Absolutely.
Sure. I mean, just to get into the journey, man, just transition over into the journey. Seattle basketball, bro.
Okay.
It's crazy. Like me growing up in the Midwest, I've never really been to the West Coast for real. I'm talking about just my time of thinking. I'm just like, man, who is all these cats coming from Seattle? Like, right. You know what I'm saying? It was just unusual at the time. You know what I mean? Because it kind of almost felt like, I want to say Doug Christie, but I don't want to say Doug Christie because I just feel like it was a huge. I'm not taking away from because he played at a legendary high school.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I just feel like.
And I didn't mean to cut you off, but you have to mention Doug Christie because he was the godfather. He founded Seattle basketball from a perspective of, I'm going to grab him, 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 and I'm going to show you what it takes. Okay. You know, you're not just going to see my name in the paper or see my highlights on TV and you go, oh, yeah, that's cool. I'm going to be in the hood. I'm going to bring my camp to the hood. Then after the camp, I'm going to take y'all to eat. I'm going to show you, I'm going to tell you stories. We're going to, you know, exchange stories. You can talk to me. I'm going to give you advice type thing. He was that mentor for us. He was the first guy that actually came back. I think it was after his senior year in college, and he came back. He had a camp at Seattle University, and I was a camper. And, man, he was just real talk. Man, I'd been to a couple camps before, you know, a couple Sonic camps. But he was the first guy that really was just like, man, this is how it is. It ain't what you think. You got to work. Like, even though I got there, I think I got drafted to the Lakers, I still had to work every single day. And he was like, okay, I'm like, work. Okay, you saying work, but what is it? So then he took me and he did a personal workout. I'm like, man, I thought I was working out. I'll just be hooping every day, you know, 3-4 times a day, go to the park and hooping. He's like, nah, you got to really break your game down and fine tune, like 1 dribble pull up, 2 dribble pull ups, catch and shoot, like that type of workout. And I was like, oh, okay. So he showed me how to work as a pro. Right. And then what I seen was he started his, it was called the Doug Christie Summer League. Mm-hmm. And he had guys coming from all over pros and they would be hooping. And that's where you really kind of got your first taste of, if you was a young high school kid, he'll let you play in his pro-am. And then you would be playing against pros like Damon Stoudemire, you know, a couple other guys from that area, that Northwest area. Then he have some of his Laker guys come up. And then you're like, dang, if I could hold my own against these pros and shit, I might got a real shot. But before Doug Christie, there was none of that. So then to speak about Doug, so then after Doug, it was like, okay, Seattle's a basketball town. Like, we missed the Sonics. We love them. Like, that's what we was raised on. My third grade PE teacher was Slick Watts, like with the headband. That's why I wear the headband. So, you know, the Sonics was everything for us. So once we saw Gary Payton and Sean Kemp start coming to the hood and putting on them same camps that Doug was putting on, it was a no-brainer. It was like, man, we could make it. We got a way out. Yeah. So, you know, having mentors that look like you, that sound like you, that cared about you was very important for us. And, you know, after Doug, it was me. Yeah. And
you basically educated me, dog. I just wanted to let you know that. I appreciate that for educating me. Because I was gonna give you that credit, but I'm glad that you told me that because that's good. That's good basketball information.
100%. Then after me, it go Jamal. Like, I had like Jamal in his high school. I would come home from college. They'll be in summer league. I'll watch him play. Then after I watch him, we'll go downstairs and play one-on-one, and I'll give him the game. Then we'll go eat lunch, right? Then GP will pick both of us up. So it just kept going. And then from Jamal, it went Brandon Roy to Nate to Martell Webster, Spencer Haas, like all of them, man. And it just kept going. And then, like, recently it just ended with like Isaiah Thomas. And then you got Zach LaVine. I mean, it just kept going, man. And Washington became a hotbed for young, talented, you know, hoopers. But realistically, in Seattle, basketball is a culture. Like in Chicago, I know, you know, that's where you're at right now. It's legendary. for the hoop runs they used to do in the summer. Seattle's very similar, and Jamal Crawford has now carried the torch and like blew past everything. Like when you have Kobe Bryant show up to your summer league game and put on a show, like you really did. Like Kobe ain't just showing up to the run and just hooping for nobody. Rest in peace, like Mamba. But once he did that, Jamal, man, he was solidified, man. It's legendary. And what he does for the city, what he does for that area is just, you got to take your hats off to him, man, because he
a real hooper, man.
Yeah, real hooper. You got to take what Doug did and where he started to when I started to give back to where Jamal is now. And he just bypassed all of us. It's legendary.
Sure.
Now, this might seem like a silly question, but you coming from Seattle, big trash talker, GP, so how big of an influence was Gary?
Huge. Everything's a competition with Unc. I call him Unc. He called me nephew. So, with Unc, it's like everything's a competition. Like my first interaction with him was he's sitting on the baseline. We playing against my rival, Garfield High School. I went for about 30, and the game's about 2 minutes left, and Unc stands up. He like, boy, you ain't doing nothing out there. I said, what you mean? He said, you ain't doing nothing. Show me something. It's 2 minutes left. I already got 30. I'm thinking I done showed him everything I had in my bag. You know what I mean? And it's the rival, so I ain't really got time. So he like, man, I'll give you whatever. Serve these fools. You get the win. I got you, whatever you want. I said, man, I want them GPs you got on. He had the new gloves on. I said, I want them right there. Man, I'm telling you, we finished them off. We win the game. Right after the game, I go to his car, man. He broke out the gloves and he gave them to me, man. I wore them in my next game. And he'll tell you the story. It's a real story. And from that point on, it was like, man, I don't care what nobody say. I'm talking bad to everybody out here. And just talk to Unc like that, and I got it done.
You just got a master's degree in trash talking right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he got it, man.
GP another level.
And when I played with KG in Boston and Brooklyn, me and KG used to talk all the time. I was like, man, why you always, talk? He said, listen, man, it's like Jedi mind tricks. If I can get to your mind, your body's going to follow. And I was like, oh, KG used to just say stuff like that. And he's like, make you think. And he was like, man, because if he's so worried about what I'm saying, he's definitely not worried about making his free throw or his defensive assignment. And literally, you can talk a man right up out his game. 100%.
Everybody can't deal with that pressure situation. You know what I mean?
No.
I tell, man, like confidence is a crazy thing, man. You know what I'm saying? When it comes, especially coming, dealing with basketball, man. I felt like there was things I learned. I thought I knew the game, everything. But sometimes I would get in that game, I'd be like, maybe I'm too anxious. I got to chill out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But if you put the work in,
and
you got that confidence, you know what I'm saying? The rest is easy, man. It's easy.
And I think for me, that's where that confidence came from was putting that work in. Like for me, watching Mike Bibby as a freshman come to University of Arizona, I was already a sophomore, and I thought I was working. But then I watched him every day, 6 a.m. before practice. He first went to the gym. He getting his work in. We practice. After practice, he ain't going to the locker room. He's staying for another hour and a half, 2 hours. More jumpers, more footwork drills. I'm like, man. So, watching guys like him really gave me the blueprint of, what exactly I needed to do to become a pro and become a true professional, like a tactician, like a specialist. And so again, when you put that type of work into your craft, you have no choice but to be confident. I don't care who you're playing against, on what stage it is. I always tell young hoopers this, they get nervous. Like I coach young girls here in Dallas for about 12 years, and some of my girls are very talented. But some games you'll see their confidence is not where it's supposed to be. I'm like, man, what's wrong? I'm a little nervous. What you nervous about? Anywhere in America, on the playground, in the gym, any gym, the goals are still 10 feet, right? So that don't change. This ain't golf. This ain't soccer. Man, the goals is 10 feet anywhere you go. So be confident in your craft. If you put the work in and trust your training, you should be able to go out there and perform. 100%.
That's dope, man. But like, what made you, we talk about you leaving the state, bro. You know what I mean? To go play at another Pac-10 school.
Oh.
I know the state had to been hot at you.
Right. Hot. The first thing they told me, bro, the day I did it, it's a crazy story. So I committed to the University of Washington. I'm gassed. My cousin was my role model growing up. He was a kick returner and a defensive back for the University of Washington. He's now the secondary coach for the Los Angeles Chargers. He's been an NFL coach for 20 years now. So I looked up to him. So I would be in the locker room as a ball boy for the University of Washington. I was a popcorn vendor for the University of Washington during the games. So everything to me was like Washington, home, rep the hood. My mom graduated from University of Washington. So I committed to the University of Washington out of, when I was narrowing my schools down. And I came home and Mom was crying. She was in tears and she was like, well, why would you do that? I'm like, man, I thought that's where you wanted me to go. And she was like, nah, She picked up the phone, man. She called Luta and was like, look, my son is sorry. He didn't mean to do it. If you can please just allow him to come and take a visit and give him an opportunity to kind of change his decision. Man, Luta answered the phone, put me on a flight. I went down, I visited the school, man, and the rest is history. And I think it was the best decision I ever made in my life. And it really wasn't mine. It was really my mom's. And so
she just wants you to stay home?
Yeah, she was like, it's too much distractions at home. Like, you stay home, you're gonna be around your friends, and it was a good decision. But right there the next day, once I had decommitted and said I was going to Arizona, the Washington papers, all the alumni, they was like, man, he can never come back to the state of Washington, let alone the city, and get a job here. And, in my mind, I'm like, man,
you can't throw moms under the bus either. Like, man, my mama made me do it.
Nah, I couldn't even do it, man. I was like, it was my decision. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But moms was right, man. They always say that, man, at the end of the day. And, I'm blessed and fortunate to still have mine. A lot of people don't. Mm-hmm. But mama be right, man, 99.9% of the time.
For sure.
That was a great decision. A blessing. Definitely a blessing.
Sure.
Coming out of high school, did you kind of feel it inside that you kind of knew you was a pro a little bit, or did that come in college?
It really came like junior, senior year in high school. I knew I could play professionally because, again, in the summertime, like I'm playing against GP, Deadlift Shrimp, Sarunas Barcelona, Xavier McDaniel, Byron Houston, Dale Ellis. All these guys worked out. The Sonics worked out in Seattle, and there was a guy that was a guru that would let the local high school kids come and train with the pros. Now, it came with a little price now. You had to rebound for them first. You had to play all defense. You wasn't getting no shots in the runs. Like, you was really like a practice dummy. You know what I'm saying? But then after that, he'll let you work out at this health club for free, which is like $1 million health club. Like, they ain't letting definitely not no African-American kids up in there, right, from the inner city. So being able to compete against them gave me the confidence, but it wasn't until I got to Arizona my freshman year and I seen guys like Damon Stoudemire, Khalil Reed, Steve Kerr, Sean Elliott, and we would be hooping against them as they were preparing for their seasons, right, in the pros. And, you out there. I mean, there ain't no time to be no punk. You got to get it.
Now with Mighty Mouse.
Right, now with Mighty Mouse. And if you lose, you sit out. So we like, man, okay, let's go. And so the first run I got against, he put all us freshmen on the same team. And then it was the vets. And so we was going at them. And we really was holding our own. And so I thought from that day forward, it was like, man, I really got a shot, man. Cats, they looking at me. Because one thing I had that I always remember was when, they used to do those write-ups about 5 stars and they'd be like, okay, what is this transferable skill? And they told me it was NBA, speed, and quickness. Everybody know me now. I'm known for shooting, but it wasn't shooting, brother.
They don't know the real shit.
Nah, it was defense and speed, brother, end to end.
Yeah.
And so that always stuck with me in the back of my mind, like, okay, NBA, speed, and quickness. That means shit, I got something.
That almost kept you around for a long time. I mean, you played 19 years in the NBA. I mean, so like that athleticism that you had at a young age, man, it just kind of carried. You feel me? Kind of kept your legs strong, so you was able to still compete at a high level.
And that's God. I can't take no credit for training or none of that. But I was just naturally fast. Like, I was a fast kid. Yeah. And so that was my transferable skill, man. So everything else, I mean, it was hard work and dedication.
Did you have a close relationship with Michael Dickerson before?
Oh, 100%. I mean,
so he had something to do with that too, right?
Yeah. So Michael Dickerson, he was the other guy. Now, everybody knew Mike D was the prototypical pro because he was built for it. Like, he was 6'5",
he was
215, he was rock solid, 40-inch vertical. He was doing stuff that pros do in high school. Mm-hmm. I'm more like Let me follow him to wherever he's going to work out. I'm gonna go so I can soak it up and give some of the game. And so those workouts I'm talking about against the pros, he was getting his shots up. Like, he was going at him, and I was like, oh, he's gonna be the real deal. There was another kid, not Danielle Marshall, but Donnie Marshall.
Donnie Marshall, yeah.
Donnie Marshall. He came from the same high school as Michael Dickerson.
Okay.
And he was really one of the first cats to make it out of there. But Donnie was different. Donnie wasn't he wasn't in the hood. He wasn't, Doug was in the hood. Like, Donnie would come get his workout on, and, he was cool. He already knew where he was headed, especially going to UConn. I mean, nobody out of Seattle went that far away, to go to school. Doug went to Pepperdine.
Yeah.
But Donnie definitely was another cat out of that area.
Facts.
Man, so quick question. You in Washington, going down to Arizona, you took your visit.
Mm-hmm.
I done seen some of them AZ visit videos, man.
I don't know how you went to school, Jay.
Man, palm trees, man, and 85 degrees in October, man, you can't beat it. Especially a kid growing up in Seattle where it rains all the time. I mean, it was a beautiful thing. And when you go in their locker room and you look on their wall and you see all these guys that are pros, it just opened your eyes up, man. Like, man, this is where you want to be at. They got a strong culture here. Your coach is legendary. They hadn't won a Final Four yet, but they had been to 2 of them. I mean, it was just optimal timing for me. And then they was calling it point guard you at the time. And I'm like, man, I'm a guard. Like, and nothing against Washington, but at that particular time, Dallas Shrimp was the only pro that I remember coming out of Washington.
Basically, they didn't really kind of pick up till Romeo got there, right?
Right. Yeah.
But you get there your freshman season, everything ain't moving as fast as you want it to go. You know what I mean? Of course, because I mean, you come into a historic program, and then around this time, guys had to come in there and compete.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like no red velvet rope for you. You know what I'm saying? No pathway, to really play. So, tell us about, how was that transition, getting there and realizing that, man, it's more work I got to put in.
I think the biggest thing for me in that transition was, one, I had a support system, like another freshman, my roommate, good friend of mine today is AJ Bramlett. He's from Albuquerque, so he was there on the grind with me. Michael Dickerson was already a sophomore, so he went through what I was about to go through as a freshman, so I kind of leaned on him. And then there's a kid out of Dallas, Texas, his name is Kelvin Efon. He was a 2-sport player, and he was a sophomore, but he was also playing football. And he was our roommate as well. So, just being able to lean on them guys when times got tough, and they're like, man, hang in there, stay with it. But being 6'1", 145 pounds, and then having a senior like Reggie Geary beat up on me every day in practice, but no, I was better skilled, and, just as good, but, he had the experience over me. I knew I had to wait my time, but I didn't wait long. I mean, I was the 6th man that year. Yeah. And going into December, we were undefeated, and we lost to a Syracuse team that had John Wallace on the squad. And he was a monster. And then
was that, you said that was the freshman or sophomore year?
Yeah, freshman year.
Freshman year. Okay.
Yeah, I was like the 6th man, and man, we was ranked. Our big man was Ben Davis and Joseph Blair, who both played in the NBA.
Yep.
And it was a senior-laden team, but man, we had talent. Miles Simon was a sophomore, Michael Dickerson sophomore. Both of them were studs. So, like, I was getting major burn, and I hit some big shots, and Coach gave me every opportunity. But what I respected about Coach is I was just as good as Reggie Geary, and probably could have took the reins from him then. Yeah. But he was loyal. Reggie Geary was a 4-year student athlete at the University of Arizona, and he waited his time. And I respected that about Luke, because a lot of these colleges you go to, you'll come in, you'll put your time in 2-3 years, and then they'll be looking for the next so-called.
I think it's different times now. You know what I mean? It's different times now. Like, I mean, I even think like the physicality and how some of these guys look, their body type doesn't even look the same to how it was back then. Like, they was coming, y'all had real weight programs going on, man. You know what I mean?
And no doubt about it. I mean, our strength coach was like a 3-time All-American at the University of Iowa football player. Like, that's who was training us. So cats is in there. Like I said, I came on the campus at 145. By the end of my freshman year, I was like 160. I finished at 185. Like you talking about, I put on 40 pounds in college.
That's solid.
And I think, and to speak back to kind of what we were talking about earlier, like high school kids don't really understand that part about it. Like to be in a program or regiment for 2-3 years and get that same strength and conditioning for that amount of time, it just forms you from a boy to a man. Like you start to get that grown man strength and your body fills out. At the NBA level, it's just not enough time. Like you'll do it over a 4 and 5 year period, but you're not going to see that increase from year 1 to year 2 to 3 just because you're playing so many games. Yeah. Like you don't have time to be in the weight room pumping it out, you know, and getting your proper nutrition. And I think
that coach ain't got time for you either because he's got a job.
Right.
He's trying to keep his job. So
he's trying to keep his job. He got to worry about you.
So let me ask you this, man. So you in Arizona your freshman year. I'm imagining that Mike Bibby got Arizona on smash because he basically broke all the records and everything. You know what I mean? When did y'all find out that he was committing to Arizona, or was it early? Was it the late decision?
He had already committed, right? And so this is what I tell young people. This is some strong advice. What I always tell you. So Arizona was not recruiting me. So my junior summer, Mike Bibby had already committed to University of Arizona. He's a year behind me. So we lock up with them in Phoenix playing AAU ball. Lutosa's in the crowd. John Thompson, Lutosa. I remember John Thompson always because he had his shoes off. Georgetown was recruiting me, right? But Arizona was not. But I see Lute. I'm like, man, that's Lute. But then I was like, oh yeah, Mike Bibby's going there. So he's there to watch Mike. I'm telling you, Mike could tell you this. I'm dogging him. I'm picking up full court. I'm turning him. I done ripped him 3-4 times. I done banged out. I'm having a great game. And so right after the game, I get a handwritten letter from Lutosa like, listen, I would love you to be an Arizona Wildcat. This is Lutosa. Here's my information. What do you think? And from that day forward, I was like, man, I don't care if Mike Bibby coming already or not, but I know if we play together, we're going to be a heck of a backcourt because, like I said, I was dogging him, but he was still younger than me. So, you know, I had that over him. Yeah. But I did see, you could see that how he was going to be great. Like the kid was doing 1 dribble pull-up, 2 dribble pull-ups, like the passes he was making, he was way advanced. Like you knew he was going to be a stud once he got to school. And so I wasn't worried or concerned at all. And Lou told me that. He said, the worst thing could happen to you, JT, he said, y'all will play together. And that's what ended up happening.
Okay.
That's real. So, you know, sophomore year.
Yeah. Sophomore year kicked in, man. I was very blessed, of course. And again, Miles Simon was our star, supposedly, of the team, right? We all knew it. Leading scorer coming back. Everybody had graduated. I was going to be the 6th man, but Miles got ineligible. So I ended up being the starting shooting guard, and me and Bibby was in the backcourt together. Our first game out, we beat Vince Carter and Antoine Jameson in the Peach Classic, the Hall of Fame Classic. Early.
Did Miles start the season?
No.
He started the season. He didn't start the season. Okay.
Started the season ineligible. Okay. So he had to wait till like conference play before we got him eligible.
Y'all beat North Carolina twice that year.
Yeah, they had twice that year.
So y'all kind of already had confidence. You know what I mean? Like y'all wasn't because I mean, y'all didn't finish well. Did y'all finish well in the Pac-10 that year?
Man, that year we finished horrible. We were like 5th in the Pac-12. And
that's what I'm saying, right.
The reason why, because going through preseason all the way up to the conference play, again, I was starting. So we had a rhythm, and we was winning. So then when Miles came back, I told Coach, I said, listen, man, Miles is the star of the team. Like, let's be honest. Like, I can come off the bench and still produce and give you production, just like as if I'm starting. It'll give us another weapon. And I know Miles' confidence, he probably not going to take that as well. So let him start. I'll be the 6th man. Boom. So we come out, man, we lose a couple. Then we lose to like Cal and some teams we ain't supposed to lose to, but it was all about chemistry. Like chemistry is a huge thing. And so guys were just starting to get comfortable in their role with, you know, him being back in the lineup. Like I didn't need a lot of shots, but Miles was a volume shooter. Michael Dickerson was our lead scorer when Miles was out. He was getting all the shots that Miles would have been getting. So they had to figure that dynamic out. So we didn't finish strong, but we made the tournament. So fast forward
but I'm just like, and even just talking about that, like, y'all was a 4 seed still. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying, because our preseason, because we had beat like Carolina.
Okay.
We played Michigan.
I was
like,
wondering that. Yeah.
Yeah, we was playing some top-notch teams. And so our strength of schedule was huge. Pac-12 was tough then too now. Yeah. UCLA was good. Cal. Oregon was okay. You know what I'm saying? USC was solid. So we had some competition out west. But so we get to the tournament, and our first 2 games, we in barn burners. Like, we was down double digits with 2 minutes left in both the first round games. Yeah. And it was like, we didn't think we was going to advance. But once we got through that, we're like, dang, okay, something special might happen. And then we got to face number 1 Kansas. We're like, come on, man. Kansas had Jock Vaughn,
Paul Pierce,
Paul Pierce, Scott Pollard. I mean, they had 4 pros, like legit pros. Yeah. And we looking like, okay, they got pros, but we had just see what people don't know is they beat us in the Sweet 16 the year before.
Yeah.
And so I already had that taste. Like, it wasn't no nerves with me. Like, we just laced them up with y'all. What's happening? Like, we coming for some get back. Man, it was a good game, dog. I'm telling you, that was one of the best games that I've been a part of, especially in college basketball. Yeah. It was back and forth. Every possession was critical. The stars were showing up. Paul was doing his thing out there. You kind of knew right then. Like, see, I grew up on the West Coast, and so Paul on the West Coast, he was known. Like, you knew Paul Pierce. You heard of him. And so he was out there getting it. And man, we ended up beating him in a close game. The next game, we go up against Providence with Sham God. Yeah. Man, I gotta give props to Sham God, Joe. He's on the Dallas Mavericks.
Hey, hold on. Y'all literally changed that man's whole career.
Man, we did, too, man. We did.
You know what I'm saying? He doesn't come out.
No.
If he don't do y'all, like, he do y'all. Well, I ain't gonna say he did, but he did his thing.
Sham did his thing. See, the one thing about Sham God is that you couldn't prepare for. Like, you seen it on tape. It's like Allen Iverson with his crossover. Like, you seen it and you heard about it, but when you're trying to sit down and it's right there in front of you, it's a whole nother look, guys. It ain't what you want. It ain't. It's funny because I was tapping my guy on the bench, right? They out there playing. I said, man, listen, when I get in there, I'm not going for the move. You know it's coming. And man, lo and behold, I get in, first thing, he come right at me. He throw it, then he grab it with the other hand. I'm like, oh. And when he throw it, it make you want to reach and go get it. And oh, man, he hit me with it, Joe. And he's a coach right now with the Mavericks, man. He's doing a hell of a job in player development. Yeah. And he and I joke about that all the time. But, man, that game actually went to overtime, and we could have lost. But, I mean, it was just our time, man, and we went to the Final Four after that. Yeah. Played Carolina, who we were already confident against. Tough team. But Mike Bibby had a hell of a game.
He did have a great game.
For a freshman to be in the Final Four and have a performance like he did, yeah. I mean, it was a lot of great freshman performances throughout the history of the NCAA tournament, but that was one of them for me. The other one I can remember, like Toby Bailey had a good run when he was with UCLA. Obviously Jordan's run as a freshman at Carolina, but Mike Bibby's is right up there.
Yeah.
Melo too. Melo
too. Yeah. We was just talking about that. So really, man, yeah, that's crazy. It's only been a couple guys that's been able to win as freshmen, man. That's
man. I'm telling you, it take a special breed.
Y'all, but Luke, he had a good system with y'all defensively.
Yeah.
And that's what y'all press, man.
Yeah, and it's underrated, defensively, the way we got after it. But, I mean, there's a reason why I hold the steals record at U of A right now. It was a reason why we broke the single-season record, me and Bibby in the backcourt, and it's because he let us have freedom. But within that freedom, we know we had trees behind us that would cover up for any mistake. We had athletic, long bigs, Bennett Davidson, A.J. Bramlett, who knew, like, okay, my guards are anticipating they're going to be in the passing lanes. If they miss, I'm going to cover their back. And that's something that you don't teach. It's something that has to be built with trust within your system. And that was Luke's system. He wanted our guards to be opportunistic and get out in passing lanes and give them the freedom to do so.
because that national championship game, it was nasty.
That's another one, man. It was nasty, but it was hard fought. And you got to remember, Kentucky was really known for their defense.
Oh, exactly.
Though they had shooters, they was missing.
They couldn't keep up with y'all though.
Yeah.
Big man, they was just they had a pro team. They had a pro team over there.
I could name 5 pros off that team right now, brother.
Ryan Mercer.
Man, Nazi Muhammad, McGlure, even the shooter. Oh man, I can't think of his name.
Eric Anderson, he didn't play though, right?
He didn't play that game. But Scott Padgett, he played for the Rockets for a while, could shoot it. Yeah. So they had pros. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, it was just a battle of attrition, and it was going to be whoever was the last man standing. And we ended up actually going to overtime in that game as well.
Yeah, right.
And man, it
was long overdue for Luke, man.
That's what it was. It was his time, bro. And a lot of things, I could say, like, I've been a champion at every level, but at some point there has to be some luck that plays into it. And we beat 3 number 1 seeds. Like, you don't get no luckier than that.
Never been done.
Yeah.
Never been done. You know what I mean? And I mean, you got to hold that weight, man. That last national champion out of the Pac-10 was y'all, man. You that. You got to feel good about that, man. Because
100%.
It's been tough for the Pac-10.
Tough, and it got even tougher, with the one and done rule. Guys are leaving a lot earlier. If I look at Arizona's roster for the last 3 or 4 years, I mean, we've had multiple guys leave after their first year, and so they never really, got to experience, that tradition, that getting to the tournament, losing, and coming back the next year and fighting for something because it means everything to the school, to the city. Like, that's kind of lost. And hopefully, if I ever get the opportunity at Arizona, I can bring some of that back to college basketball.
Gotcha.
And before we move on, I just want to touch on something, man. That's when you said you went to coach and you said, he was the star of the team and you was ready to come off the bench. Like, I just want to touch on that because I coach young kids. I know you advocate of women's basketball as well yourself, but a lot of kids nowadays, they run from the competition, man. It's like, if this situation is not tailor-made to me, then I want to go find another situation.
Yeah.
So, I just, that's respect, man. You knew Mike Bibby was coming. Mike Bibby was, Mr. Arizona. You knew that, you still made the choice to go there and it worked out, just through hard work, perseverance. You battled, you faced your adversity and you still came out on top. So I just want to, point that out for my young players and the young players out there, man. You don't run from the smoke, man. You can compete and work hard and still make your footprint.
Yeah, my motto is, man, don't run from it, run to it, because anything that you go through and face in life is going to make you stronger and tougher. And you might learn something from somebody else, that's supposed to be, that might be a little more talented than you. And then you take what they got and implement it into your game. And then you got a much more powerful player. And I think, a lot of kids sometimes feel like, okay, if this situation is not perfect and not catered for me, then I'm going to go somewhere else and hope it works out. And there's a risk that you take with that. And so, again, just my experience. Like, it ain't for everybody. And I always tell people that you have the right, you have the decision to make, and that's on you. I mean, I've had several girls that I've coached that have went to some of the top Power 5 schools that promised them a lot, and then when they got there, they wasn't getting what they was promised, and so they transferred, went somewhere else, and they're having a pretty good career. So, again, I can see, the points on both sides of the fence, but for me, definitely staying there. And I had opportunities. I had opportunity to transfer to Michigan, to transfer to some local schools. Right. Steve Fisher had that thing rocking. Everybody wanted to rock the gold and blue, right, and put them baggy shorts on, man.
Put you some black socks on. Put you
man,
some
with the black socks, man. If you wasn't a Fab 5 fan growing up, man, something's wrong with you. You ain't no hooper. You know what I mean?
Come on, man.
That's the culture, man.
We needed that, man. You see Jamal, he was smart.
No, he was smart. I tried to get him at Arizona, man. He was like, man, I'm going. But when you're built like he is, 6'6", 6'7", you know what I mean? Jalen Rose built. I mean, he
was special. He was special.
Special.
And just to piggyback on what you were saying about being able to accept the role that prepared you. That prepared you for the league to a certain extent, man. Because I mean, playing at a Power 5 school, you know what I mean. Everybody on the team is good, or they're coming from coming from high school where they were good at some point. You know, you're not making it to University of Arizona if you're not the man on your team or you're not 7 feet. You know what I'm saying? It's either one. There's no other way. You know what I mean?
This is what I tell these young kids. I got drafted to the Atlanta Hawks in '99. I walk in the locker room, brother, and this team is like, they're not really competing for no championship or nothing. Yeah. But I'm sitting next to cats that in college was all Americans. J.R. Ryder, Jim Jackson, Allen Henderson, Dikembe Mutombo. Like, these is all Americans, player of the years in their conferences. So I don't care what you say, but we like the cellar dweller in the league. So that just tells you the level of competition. And that's what I walked into as a 22-year-old kid, man. Ain't no way you're ready for that.
Oh, facts.
LaFonso Ellis. It was lumps. And you look up their resumes in college and what they did in college.
That's why it's crazy.
It's crazy. And so, man, I was no way you could say you were prepared for that. All you could do is strap up and go in there and get after it, man. Because the only experience is experience itself. And if you don't want to go through it and you're going to run from it, then you're not going to get nothing out of it. And so, I laced them up every single day. And this is back when in training camp, cats is literally fist fight. Like, if you didn't knuckle up and have an altercation like once or twice a week, they looking at you like, man, we can't count on him. So, man, you looking for somebody to get into it with. It was crazy, man. I'm glad it ain't like that no more. You know what I'm saying? But it was tough. It definitely was tough.
Just to stay with your college years, because I can't even move past it, because I have to ask this question. You know, I do my research. Jet. And I'm looking at your junior year. Y'all losing Elite 8 to legendary coach Rick Majere.
Oh.
And Andre made a mistake and copped him a triple-double, man. Come on, man. I looked at the numbers. I'm like, dude had 18, 14, and 13 assists.
Man.
Who was guarding him?
First of all,
you know I gotta talk like that.
I gotta give Andre Miller so much credit, for a kid out of Compton to go to a school like Utah and lead a team like that the way he did to the Final Four, man. It was just phenomenal to watch. And then to be playing against him in that moment, I mean, the kid was having a hell of a game, and we was overconfident. Don't get me wrong. We the national champions. We coming in. We looking. We like, oh, yeah, Andre Miller, that's all they got over there. They just graduated Keith Van Horn.
Yep.
We just smacked them. That was another team we smacked our sophomore year in Utah, Keith Van Horn. We smacked them. So we looking like – and we said this in our press conference before the game, and this is what got us beat. I'm telling you right now. We said there would never be a game where one of the four of us will have a night off. Me, Bibby, Simon, or Dickerson. There's never been a game where one of us, or I'm saying where all of us at one particular game have had a night off. And that night came that next night. Dickerson had a night off. Simon had a night off. Mike Bibby had a night off. I'm really the only one showed up, and I'm going to tell you straight up. I was getting at it. But my little 16 points wasn't holding nothing against that triple-double. Hey, but I will give Rick Majerus all the credit in the world. He played a defense, bro. They call it a diamond and two. This is the first time I ever seen that defense, and we weren't prepared for it.
Was it a full court or half court?
Half court zone. They manned Michael Dickerson and Simon, or they'll man Dickerson and Bibby, or Simon and Bibby, and then they'll just leave everybody else open. And so, and the other three people would be in a zone. So two guys man up, and then the other three are in zone. Diamond and two.
That's hard. That's hard.
So, if you hadn't seen it, you wasn't gonna be prepared for it in one game.
And that almost prepares them because y'all point guard you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's tailor made for y'all.
Oh,
that defense was basically tailor made for y'all.
Man, that was the only thing they could do was throw a junk defense that they've never played and nobody's ever seen. That was the only chance they had.
So as soon as y'all cross half, it was like
they was hungry.
You was picking the ball up a little bit.
Right. You was like, oh, what is he doing way out here? They supposed to do 2-3. This, you know what I mean? You like, oh. Then you couldn't run your regular offense. because you're like, and then you're getting shots. You're like, oh, I'm wide open. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And guys wasn't hitting. I mean, it was like we told on ourselves. Nobody's ever had an off night, and we all ended up having an off night in that instance. But give Andre Miller all the credit in the world because he stayed on the attack. The boy is one of the most underrated point guards in league.
Jet, say it again, man. Say it again, Jet.
Andre Miller is one of the most underrated point guards in league history. We both were drafted in 1999, and I watched his career. The reason he don't get a lot of credit, he never played on a championship team, but his personality, he didn't talk a lot. Like, you never seen him on interviews and doing media or none of that. He just came out and produced. And every team he was on, he made his teammates better. I mean, if you watch the way he threw ahead and gave guys opportunities to be successful, man. Ask Melo. Melo will tell you when he got to Denver, man, Dre used to serve him up, man, and give him all kind of passes, man. That kid was special, 100%.
He was a true point guard, dog.
And
true score general.
And people forget he did have 50 in the league before too. You know,
on Dallas,
no threes.
On Dallas, that was on us, buddy.
That was on y'all.
What was it?
With no trays?
Man, with no trays. I sat there and looked at about 20 of them. You know what I mean? Boy, hey, look. And I'm gonna give Dre credit too, because in my senior year, I had Dre picture up on my wall in my room. I had Dre, and then I had a kid at Stanford by the name of Arthur Lee, and both of them too, because they was all on like, these is the two next point guards. And I was like, man, I gotta see these boys. So every time I faced Dre in the league, it was always personal, like for me, because I can never forget that Elite Eight. Like, that was supposed to be back to back for us.
Sure.
We was gonna go back to back.
First since Duke.
Right. And Kentucky ended up winning it, beating Utah. So we probably would have played Kentucky in a rematch game. That would have been dope.
Tubby was there by that time, right?
Yeah, Tubby Smith was there. Tino had left.
Got you. So you finish out senior year. I'm pretty sure I'm betting that, you know, you prepared heavily that summer, you know, to get prepared for that senior season, because you had a hell of a senior season. Pac-10 Player of the Year, averaging about 22.5, 3 steals. I mean, you was ready. You a top 10 draft pick now.
Yeah, I was ready. But see, I was playing for something bigger than just hooping. Like, I had a daughter at this point. You know, she was 1 year old.
Got you.
You know, me and my wife now, and my mom, you know, single parent, 10 kids. Like, she was literally getting on the Greyhound with 4 of my brothers and sisters and coming to all the road trips and sitting behind the bench. So it was like, man, I got to get it. Everybody's graduated. Coach then gave me the ball. He said, we going to go as far as you take us. So literally, I was playing 40 minutes a night. I wasn't coming out the game. And if we was going to win, it was going to be on my shoulders. And I relished in that role, because I was like, shit, I've been here 4 years now. I mean, it's my time. And like, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Was I gunning? Yeah, I was gunning. But I was gunning for something bigger than just winning games. You know what I mean? That was for life. That was for life.
Got to.
Yeah, I don't understand some of these kids, because, and for me, when I'm waking up at 6 a.m. in the desert and it's 100 degrees and I'm outside on the court, because they won't open the gym, and I'm doing that every day before class, then going to class, then going to practice, then after practice shooting, making another 500 jumpers. Man, I'm shooting every ball out here on the court when I lace them up, because I'm out here putting the work in. You know what I'm saying? I don't see everybody doing that. So it's my job as a leader of this team. Like, if there's a shot to be taken and it's a good one, I'm taking it. And so that's how I played my whole senior year. Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
I'm pretty sure Luta ain't had no problem with that, man.
No
You put your time in. You put your time in.
He was so happy for me, man. I can honestly say not a lot of coaches would do that, but Luta Olsen gave me the freedom to go out there and play the game I love at a high level with no limitations.
Yeah.
Like, here you go, Jed. It's your show. Do what you got to do, man. Win the game.
Right.
It's it was dope, man. I really appreciated that, because again, remember what I told you about loyalty and you know, coaches will tell you one thing, and then you've been in here 3 years, and hey, man, I still ain't getting my. But man, I got my 3 years in, and that 4th year, he gave it to me.
Yeah.
Like, here you go.
That's perfect. You know, that's why I call you. That's why I call you Mr. Reliable.
Yes, sir.
Because when it was your time, you didn't run from it. You end up being a top 10 pick. You know what I'm saying? So and that's big. When did what were the projections looking like? You know what I mean? Was it prior
at the end of the season? End of the season, I was Player of the Year in the conference, National Player of the Year in Sports Illustrated, and so at that particular time, I'm like, okay, it was a heavy point guard class, but I was still projected first round. So my focus after the season was we lost in the first round too, so that didn't help me. So my thing was, okay, there's 5 other point guards they talking about: Baron Davis, Andre Miller, Will Avery was at Duke, myself, and then Steve Francis. Did I say Steve Francis? And Steve Francis. So I'm looking like, okay, wherever they working out at for their individuals, I'm going. Like, I called my agent, I told him, man, find out where them cats is, what teams they working out for, and I'm gonna make sure I'm there at the same workout. Because usually in the NBA, when you do your individual workouts, they hide. Like, you can pick and choose where you want to go, when you want to go. And one thing I loved about it was I got to go head up with all of them except for Baron. Now, it probably was a good thing because BD was B Diddy back then, boy. And we actually.
And Jet, that's a big guard.
Listen to me. That's a big guard, yo. For an individual workout to go head up with him for an hour, it was going to get ugly in there.
It was going to get ugly. It might have,
But I'm just saying, I had just marked him off in my last Pac-12 season game at home. My senior game, I hit 24, and we beat him by about 20. And BD the type, like, everything personal with BD. So he's going to be an altercation. You know what I mean? He liked me. He built just like me. So we were working out at the Clippers facility, but BD was coming off knee surgery. So he was like, man, I can't do no one-on-one. So, you know, I'm like, cool. No one-on-one. Cool. But I literally worked out for all 13 lottery teams.
That's crazy.
I did get to go head up with Andre in Seattle, in Cleveland. He actually got drafted to Cleveland. Cleveland changed coaches in the middle of the draft process, and they wanted me to come back and work out. But I was like, man, I already killed Andre in this workout, so I'm not coming back to Cleveland for that workout. Got a little cocky. You know what I'm saying? So I probably could have got drafted 7th or 8th.
I wouldn't take Andre as a big workout guy anyway, because you gonna kill him off the first step regardless.
That's what happened too. I'm glad you said first step. Why?
Come on, man. It's just knowing, man.
That wasn't a good matchup for him.
That wasn't a good matchup for him.
Yeah. But it was cool, and I thought we had a great strategy, man. I did 13 cities in 15 days, man. It was a grind. It was crazy. I was flying all over Toronto, L.A. Man, where else did I go? L.A., Toronto, Cleveland. Man, I was all over Minnesota. Like, I was all over the place, man. But it was the greatest time of my life because I just knew this was it. Like, I got to show these scouts what it is. And a lot of the workouts they were doing, I had watched Mike Bibby do it the year before, so I had like a cheat sheet. So all the drills, I had practiced them drills every single day in preparation. So it was light work for me. I performed well and ended up getting drafted.
I'm just surprised you did 13 cities and you was a top 10 pick. That's like, especially not in this league right now.
They ain't doing that. These cats is running from that. They running from that, you know. But for me, like you said, when you're a kid, 1 of 10, inner city, like you, man, whatever I got to do, brother, send me the plane ticket. I'm trying to get it.
In your time preparing for the draft and coming up through college, was there maybe like an underrated player or, you know, maybe a more unknown player that you got to see personally that never really made, you know, maybe didn't go pro or went pro and washed out a little bit that you just kind of want to give, you know, always thought they had some game?
Right. Man, it's so many cats, even like from when I was in high school, you know, playing against that never really, that I thought, man, they better than me, you know what I'm saying? But they just didn't get the opportunity or didn't go to college. Man, there was a guy that was on my high school team that academically got ineligible and actually gave me my opportunity. His name is Derek Elliott. He's actually the cousin of Sean Elliott. And then you talk about Gary Payton, man, he literally was Gary Payton. Like, he would pick you up full court. He was the glove, but he could shoot too, and he was quick. Still a good friend of mine to this day, but he's one of those cats, man, that I was like, man, he definitely should have made it, you know. But definitely, you know, he's still a good friend of mine today.
Yeah. Sure. So you get the ATL. You in the losing situation, but you under a legendary coach in Lenny Wilkins.
Oh man.
Tell us a little bit about that. I mean, you playing with Isaiah Ryder, Jim Jackson, like you just said. These were big college basketball athletes at this time, especially Jim Jackson. He was all world.
All world.
All world.
I mean, you over there, you got Matumbo over there. Hey. You know, his crazy little voice. You got Jim over there, who's the professional. He's coming in there suited and booted. Yeah. You know what I mean? Then you had the old school vet, LaFonso Ellis, kind of at the end, but he was still, you know, the voice in the locker room, the leader of the team. Then you had J.R. Ryder, who kind of was like, man, I'm not getting my just due, you know, but I'm the baddest, coldest thing out here. You know what I'm saying? Give me the rock. And it was crazy because I used to, you know, watch J.R. and J.R. was the one, like, on the road, you going to J.R. room. Like, you ain't going to hang out with nobody but him because he got the video game in there. He got all the snacks. You know what I'm saying? He telling stories. He got the music on. He playing West Coast. I'm from the West Coast, so he got all the West Coast legends playing E40, C-ball, my guys. Yeah. And so, you know, we just hanging out. And he trading war stories. And he telling us about the league and how stuff is. And, you know, it's crazy about him because he was so talented, bro. Like, I'd never seen a dude destroy a practice like he could. Like, literally, you thinking like practice, like, just go through the motions, get through it. Man, he was going at cats. Like, he was strong, athletic, and could really control the game, was smart, cerebral, could get guys involved. Mm-hmm. And, you know, him and management kind of just fell out at the time, man, and they ended up letting him go midway through the season, and that kind of, you know, our season was a whole different direction.
It almost kind of felt like that was the whole vibe for you in Atlanta. Like, people coming in, and then they was out. You know what I mean?
Lenny Wilkins, Lon Kruger, Terry Stotts. Yeah, I had 3 coaches in 4 years. Like, it was.
That's tough.
Yeah, it was tough, especially for a young player trying to learn the point guard position too. Yeah. In an era when you talking about, I don't even want to start naming the point guards I had to go up against. Man, my first preseason game. Let me tell you this. So I'm thinking I'm gonna be the starting point guard. Bimbo Coles is the backup. Mm-hmm. You know, he's the vet. Cool, I got it. I'm better than him. Let's just be honest. So, I mean, we get to the first preseason game. We playing New Jersey. Man, Stephon Marbury, brother.
Oh,
Oh, man, I wasn't ready.
Oh, New Jersey Steph too?
Oh, New Jersey Steph, yo.
First game.
36 by the midway through the 30 at 36 on. This is preseason where you thinking cats is just going through the motions. It's a tune-up. Man, Steph had 36 on me, brother. I did not start another game until March. As you know, March, that's for everybody out the playoffs. Hey, that was it for me, brother. Rookie year. No way. Wasn't ready. Just wasn't ready, man. Hey, man, Steph was on a whole nother level, man. It was crazy. Like, how strong he was, how quick he was, how powerful. And he could shoot.
He had the whole package, Jay.
Dude had the whole package, bro.
Yeah, the whole package. That's what's so crazy, like how his career, you know, altered out like it's supposed to be, because the way if you see Stephon Marbury walk in a room, bro, he's a physical specimen. You know what I mean? I'm talking about like
Diesel, right? Bald head coming in. You know, he walk, he talk, got that New York accent. Yeah. I mean, the boy that listen, man, was a straight problem. Yeah. Like him and AI, when they came in, it was just a different level of guard. Like, you know, and they were just a different level of athlete. And so for me, Steph, man, Hall of Famer. Shit, even what he did once he, you know, left the States and went to China, won all them championships, come back. How can you not put that kid in the Hall of Fame, man? His basketball resume speaks for itself. Yeah. But he's legit. I know a lot of point guards in our league are happy that Steph left when he did.
Facts. They were scared of him. I'm just
straight up.
We just talking about natural talent, man, everything. There's certain guys when you look at that schedule and you be like, man, we might win the game, but I gotta play some defense tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
Steph was one of those guys, man. I just think some of the situations he was put in didn't fit him. You know what I mean? And, you know, it happens, man. New York was the bad decision. It wasn't good for him to go there, man. Go back home.
New York being a little tough on cats, man. You know what I mean? Just tough. Organizationally, you know, you would think at some point they would get it right. But, it's just been a struggle, man. But I tell you what, it's just a lovely place, atmosphere. If you are a hooper and you get a chance to play in any arena that you want, like you could pick and choose, you're going to pick Madison Square Garden. Because when you step out on the court for warm-ups for the game, you're on stage. Mm-hmm. It's like a Broadway play with hip-hop. It's a whole different vibe. You like at a nightclub, but you hooping. And it's just electric. Like, you got to have look, you going to call your shoe company, you're going to be like, look, man, I got to have them on for this one. Equipment manager, make sure my socks and my head, like, come on, man, you got to be looked the part, man, in the garden. And then you got to bring it. Because if you ain't bringing it, they going to let you know about it. Yeah. I'm telling you. But I've had some good games there, man. I actually got to play in the playoffs there against the Knicks in a series, which was electric. That was a fun one, too. So
that's special.
Yeah.
So did you really used to wear 5 pair of socks?
Did I? 100%.
Okay.
100%.
Bro, how big was your shoes?
Man, I'll tell you, they're the same size I wear naturally. And people always ask that.
Ow.
Crazy.
Numb. All I can tell you is numb.
That's what I'm trying to.
Can't feel them. Don't want to feel them. Because, see, for me, when you stopping and going as fast as I'm moving out there, you're just beating up the end of your feet. And so I never wanted to feel that. So I had that extra cushion. And then I never got my ankles taped either, so it gave me stability.
Yeah, that was just your thing, man. That was just your thing.
But I'm telling you, no.
But I'm sitting there thinking about 5 pair of socks and me hooping. I'm like, yo, my flexibility in my toes, you can't even feel.
You can't feel it. Once you get past the first quarter and your toes is numb, just like if you put your feet in a cold tub, and it go numb, or you sit on the toilet too long and your feet get numb. That's the feeling. Once that wear off, you're cool.
Hey, cuz that kind of bring up to the point where you was talking about, man, Jet is the only person I know that could go 100 miles per hour and stop and pull up.
I'm telling you, you put on 1 pair of socks and try that move.
The blisters gonna be crazy.
What? I ain't gonna lie, I was trying to, me being a young hooper, I'm stealing that all out your book, man. In college, you used to run in transition, feel the lane, and when you got it on the lane, you didn't continue to try to go contest it into the trees. You would catch that boy right where you caught it, stop, mid-range pop. I'm like, that is the way easier, better shot than me trying to be all there trying to. So, yeah, I'm stealing little stuff out your book, man.
100%, man. I can't take all the credit. The mid-range pull-up, that's Iceman George Gervin. I spent like 3 days with him. And we shot 0 3. We made 2,500 jump shots in 3 days, and it was no three-pointers. It was all mid-range pull-ups, footwork. And, man, I had the best 2 seasons in my career of points per game, 19.5 or something. Then another year in Dallas, I had another 19. So it was all Iceman, man.
That's crazy. I didn't even think about that. How did you even get this relationship with her?
So this is why Detroit ties come in. So my uncle Big Jeff is from Detroit, right? My cousin played quarterback at King High School.
Okay.
My uncle grew up with Magic, Isaiah, Vinnie Johnson, all them, and he would run the summer league games for them. So when they was going their little tours, this is for all the young kids, when they go on their tours around the cities and play those games, Iceman, all of them, they had a coach by the name of Merriweather. And Merriweather would get all the guys, all the pros, they'd get together and they'd go play these games all across the country in the summer. And so I hooked up with Unc, and Unc was like, man, one thing you got to do from a young fella when you make it, you got to go see the Godfather Ice. You got to go see Ice. I'm like, all right. So then one summer, he took me down to San Antonio, spent 3 days with Ice. We golfed and we shot. It was like a straight routine for 3 straight days. We golfed and we shot. And it was all mid-range.
Oh, man, that's good.
That's dope.
Yes, sir.
That's dope. So, even just talking about, how your first couple of seasons was in Atlanta, people coming and going. It's like for you to come from a winning environment, you get here and you don't know, you're not really learn, like you got vets around, but they're coming for a period of time.
and then they leave, and you get Sharif. What was that, like maybe your third season?
Yeah.
Get Sharif your third season.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all started trying to build a couple pieces, but start losing more players again. You know what I'm saying? So it just kind of almost felt like, man, your 5 seasons in Atlanta was just all development stages for you. You know what I mean?
And it wasn't no development like where they was grooming me to be something.
Yeah.
I already had the inner strength, the inner drive from within to be like, man, I want to be something in this league. And so every season it would be a new challenge for me. I mean, I started at the point guard, then they moved me to the 2. Then I was the point guard again. I averaged 17 and 7. They didn't want to pay me, so I had to go back to the 2 and be a shooting guard. Like, at that particular time, they were like, okay, who's the next Allen Iversons, in that type of mode. Smaller shooting guards that were quick, then we'll put a big guard alongside of them so he can, so he don't have to guard the 2s.
Right.
So that kind of evolution of my game started to form. And then I told him, man, I'm a basketball player, man. Just put me out there. I'm a hoop, I'm a produce, I'm a perform. Don't pigeonhole me into a position.
Yeah.
So then as, guys were coming in and out, I mean, one of the greatest guys that ever came in that I played with in Atlanta, one was Tony Kukoc. Just watching him and how he played, even though he was older at the time, he's about to retire, but just his IQ, how he's seen the game and how he did the play before the play, it was similar to Jason Kidd and how he plays. It was fun to be on the team with him. But then I only played with Rasheed Wallace for 1 game.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. Like when you're a player,
because we needed him, bro. We needed him.
But that's what I'm telling you. When you're a player and then there's management, and you say the business of basketball, you surely, as a player, you feel robbed. Because with Sharif and Rasheed, I really thought we had an opportunity to make a push for the playoffs. But we trade them. Not only do we trade them in conference to the Detroit Pistons, and they end up winning the championship that season, bro. So how bad do I feel as one of the star players of the team? Like, I'm like, man, what kind of move is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was terrible, but I will tell you this. So every offseason, because offseason obviously was playoff season because we was always out, I would go around to the playoffs. So I would go watch every playoff series. If I had a friend on the team, like Sacramento Kings, I had Mike Bibby. I go watch them play against Dallas. If I had Detroit, I had Chauncey, I had Rasheed. So I would go stay at Rasheed's house, me and my pops, and we watched the whole series with the Lakers. Bro, when I tell you, I thought I won the championship that year. Literally, I was at every game. Literally, I stayed for the parade, me and my pops and my brother, and we partied and celebrated like we had won. Darvin Ham, Sheed, Body, Ben Wallace, Tayshaun, like them is my guys. So I'm on the journey with them. Like, even though they was playing against GP and that's my idol, I was like, man, I'm rocking with the Pistons, yo. They was hard. They was hard for that. Like, to beat all them Hall of Famers in the fashion they did, I told myself that summer, I said, I'm dedicating every summer from here on out until I get the opportunity to be on that stage. That's the stage I want to play on. Yeah. Dang all the All-Star game and score all 19, 20 points a game. Man, I want to play for a championship. And that Pistons team showed me like that, gave me that motivation.
Yeah. So it almost felt like you didn't even have to wait too long because,
right.
I mean, you get traded right before like that next summer. You know what I'm saying? To a better situation. Steve Nash just left. He's leaving Dallas, which a lot of people were upset about that.
Hot.
They was hot about that.
Dirk was hot about that.
Yeah.
You said who?
Dirk. Yeah,
Dirk was hot. Oh,
that was his best friend.
Right.
Yeah,
that was his guy.
Best friend.
That was his guy.
So it took a while for Dirk to kind of warm up to me and my style and how I played the game. And even the city, even Don Nelson. And Don Nelson actually left midway through the season and he gave the team to Avery Johnson, which was a blessing in disguise because Avery believed in me. Like, when I tell you, I would not have played 19 years in the league without a role model, a mentor, and coach like Avery Johnson. I wouldn't have. And it was because he seen something in me, and he literally every day, bro, he watched film with me. We had Bible study. We talked about life. We talked about basketball and how to become a professional. like if I didn't have somebody like him come into my life at that particular time, me coming out of Atlanta wild and man, because you got to think, I'm in Atlanta, man. We lose. There ain't no, who cares if you win or lose? You got
Hey, Jet, you was in Atlanta at a great time.
That's what I'm telling you. Your numbers was put up in the club. Your numbers wasn't put up on the court. How many bottles did you pop? You know what I mean? How many clubs did you make it to? And did you make it to 112 after that? Like, man, listen, man. Black Hollywood was going down. It was a great time to be alive. And I'm just happy to say I lived through it, and I'm still here. But back to what I was saying, it was like, you know, Avery came into my life at that particular time. I needed a mentor. I needed somebody to show me how to become a professional. Like, I had the work ethic. There was no doubt I was going to do that. I was going to put the work in. But show me how to run a team, how to manage a game, how to control and be a leader of men. Like, he taught me that. He gave me that skill set, and I got to give him a lot of credit for it.
Thanks.
Definitely. So, you know, I know you said it took a little time for Dirk to warm up, you know, the city of Dallas. How did you know, what's your mindset coming from Atlanta and going into Dallas, you know?
Well, right away, my first mindset was so wrong. And I was like, man, I'm about to try to be like Nash. So I put on all Nash's tapes. I'm trying to emulate him and come off the pick and roll like him. And I'm not slow like him, but I'm fast. Like, I'm going too fast. I just slowed my game down. Like, and it wasn't working. Like, it was not working out for me. I'm turning the ball over at a high rate. Like, and that was something I never really did. I wasn't shooting a high percentage. I wasn't even getting but 3 or 4 shots because I'm trying to set everybody up like he was. And Nash is special. Like, he's very underrated as a point guard. People can say what they want about his MVPs back-to-back, but he earned them. Like, I played in a playoff series against Nash. I literally had to guard him for a whole series, and he really showed me why he is who he is. And that's a 2-time MVP Hall of Famer. Like, he literally has a skill set that I really haven't seen in any other point guard in this league. Like, to control a game like he does. The only other guy that I can think of is Chris Paul, controls the game like that. Westbrook is a little different because he's dynamic, right? Nash didn't have that athletic ability. So I compare him to like a Stockton. You know, J. Kidd was fast. He played at a different speed, but like Nash was just crafty, man.
Nash had that. I feel like Nash had. Yeah, you could say Kidd, but Nash had that jumper.
Man,
you know what I mean?
Right.
So you had to pick and choose what you wanted to do. You know what I mean? That pick and roll with him and Amari.
Oh my God. Like, Stockton and Malone had the deadliest pick and roll 2-man game. But right after that, it's Nash and Stoudemire, yo. Like, that what they was doing and what they did to me in that series, it was unbelievable. Like, I still have nightmares about that series, man.
I mean, it's a lot of decision making with that.
Right,
you know what I mean?
No, you're right, for sure. And you better have a plan. If you don't have a plan, them brothers going to wear you out. But, you know, we got through that. I mean, I made a big mistake. Nash came down on me in Game 6, hit a pull-up 3 to tie the game up, send it to overtime, and me and Dirk kind of got into it. And, you know, that kind of, you know, sometimes through adversity, it makes the relationships come closer. And so he and I, you know, grinded out all summer, stayed in the gym. He seen I wasn't going to fold. He seen I was in it with him. Like, it ain't just you by yourself. You got somebody that's in the fight with you. And so the next year we come back, we play the Miami Heat in the finals. And we beat Nash and him in the conference finals. So I know that gave him a big sigh of relief. Like, oh, okay, Jet.
We good.
We good. Yeah, we good. Okay. And so, you know, he knew he had a partner in the fight that he could run with. And so I gained, you know, a lot of times in life you have to, you know, respect is not given, it's earned. And I thought I earned his respect by handling my business on the court.
Definitely. Now, 06 finals, man, I got to ask you, because this is just a barbershop debate that we have all the time. Y'all up 2 games, right?
Crazy.
The first 2. You had a 30-pointer.
Oh, yeah.
Now then, you know, Wade started going to the line more and more. What's your opinion on that, man? You know, I got people talking about.
Listen, man. Wade need to send me a box of that wine, first of all. Because he would not be an NBA champion had he not went to the free throw line as many times as he did in that series. More than any other NBA player in the history of basketball did he go to the free throw line in that particular series. Now, did he earn some of them? Yeah, he earned some of them. But then there was some of them that wasn't really, I don't know. Like, we have to go back to the tape and look at it. But if you go to the line more than the GOAT, Michael Jordan, hey, man, some ain't
I feel you.
But I will tell you this, man, they had the better team, no doubt about it. Were we playing better at the time? Yes, we were. We jumped out on them 2-0. But when you have, let me see, Dwayne Wade, Hall of Fame, Gary Payton, Hall of Fame, Shaquille O'Neal, Hall of Fame, Lonzo Mourning, Hall of Fame. You got 4 Hall of Famers. Name another NBA championship team that had 4 Hall of Famers, man. Y'all supposed to win it. We just had jumped out on them, and we were playing at a different pace than they were used to. And, I had got off to a good start. Josh Howard was playing at an all-star level. Like, we overachieved. Like, Avery Johnson had us playing like, world beaters. And we knew it. And, it got to a point where, and I tell everybody today, like, NCAA basketball is one thing, but the NBA Finals is a true testament of your character and your will. And if you can break somebody for a whole series, you will become a champion. But for us, we thought we had broke them in 2 games. Man, it ain't no 2 games. You got to win 4 games, brother. And I'm telling you, after them 2 games, we didn't win another. Like, they dug deep, and they had something within them. Even Antoine Walker was on that team. White Chocolate was on that team. James Posey was on that team. Like, they had some dogs. They had some dogs, man, and they didn't quit. And man, we had them on the ropes.
But let me ask you this question. It almost feel like what you talking about, that 06 team.
Yeah.
Our 2011 team almost mimics that.
Kinda. Right.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. You had Hall of Famers. You had 2 to 3 Hall of Famers on there.
You had a lot of
Tyson, Sean Marion, like, they forgot Karan Butler was hurt.
He was hurt.
Literally, if he wasn't hurt, it was gonna get ugly.
Yeah.
We had the squad that year, no doubt about it. But again, just going through that experience, it's nothing like a finals, man. And that was my first one too. You know what I mean? To get off to a good start.
Got off to a great start.
Oh my goodness! On that stage, something you've watched your whole life.
Not to take nothing away from Dirk, because Dirk is great.
Yeah.
But I think it was the first time that Dirk realized, oh yeah, I'm in the finals now.
Right.
I'm a franchise player carrying this Dallas team to a championship against all these Hall of Famers. I think that was the first time he realized that, yo, I'm great. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm on this level now, and I have to compete at this high level. Because Dirk, he was making it to the playoffs. He was doing his thing. Right. He was actually changing the league, which he changed the league for good.
Yeah.
He was creating a whole different generation of stuff going on, and I think that was the first time he needed that experience.
Yeah.
To be able to. Yeah.
I always say it. There's no experience like experience itself, man. And he had to go through that. Think about all the great Hall of Fame players, and we're watching The Last Dance now. How many times did Michael Jordan have to get beat up and lose in the playoffs, and before he finally got over that hurdle and he finally beat Boston, he finally beat Detroit, and then he got there? Like, Dirk had to go through that against Miami and lose. Like, say if he would have won that right there, I don't know how fulfilling his career would have been. Now, we both would have been truly excited.
Yeah. But
to go through that loss and have to go to a certain dark place for a couple of years, 3, 4, man, it took 5 years to get back to that final.
Yeah,
so you can imagine how we felt, right? I equate it to like LeBron playing against San Antonio. They get swept. Then it took him 3, 4 years to get to where they played against us. Yeah. And he went to Miami, put everything in the truck, man, we're going to Miami, we're going to win 5, 6, 7 of them. And then we knock them down. So he had to go to a dark place. Next thing you know, the next year, man, he went 2 in a row, right? Then he went another one. Like, so, great superstars have to go through that type of adversity so they can kind of find that inner toughness, that inner strength, go to that dark place to realize their greatness. And a lot of our greats have done so. Like, Magic didn't have to really go through that, but Bird did to some extent.
No, he did.
I always thought it was a cool note on the 2011 team that none of the guys had won a championship on the roster too. So everybody was, had experienced some type of that losing and coming back and playing for something bigger than, So that was always a cool thing. I'm a LeBron fan, so that one hurt me to the core.
Jet, he on that list, Jet.
He on that list, bro.
Them crazies, them Bron crazies,
bro.
Let's talk about it. I mean, let's talk about it. And I got a code, and I'm gonna kill you with it. I'm gonna let y'all answer first, so I'm gonna go to you first, J Redd. Who is the greatest player of all time?
Man, I'm going my guy Bron, the GOAT, man.
Okay, give me some basis. You got to give me a case. What solidifies him as the greatest player of all time?
Man, okay. I really want to ask you some questions, and I know that this will spiral me off into a whole nother 2 hours on the podcast. So I'm going to just try to give a quick, I think, all right. I'm not even mad that people argue that Mike is the GOAT. You know what I mean? That I understand it. It's different eras. I think it's hard to compare different eras. I'm one of those people who, I think Jordan can be a GOAT of his time. Kobe can be a GOAT of his time. Bron can be a GOAT of his time. Also, though, I just don't like what really bothers me about everything is there's no consistency. Like Mike, if we compare him to Mike's negatives get paved over while we living through LeBron. So it's no consistency how they judge them. I think, you know what I'm saying? As far as watching The Last Dance, even little petty arguments okay, Scotty had to check Magic. That switched the whole series. But they will kill LeBron for not checking Durant the whole series. You know what I'm saying? So I just think the consistency on which they are graded is not the same. And that is my biggest issue with that conversation.
But why do you feel like he is the GOAT?
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go, and that's why I'm going to go to this. All right. So in comparison to Mike, who is considered the GOAT, I don't think Mike has the most of everything. He doesn't have the most points. He doesn't have the most championships. He doesn't have the most of anything. And then I come to, okay, neither does LeBron. So now the question becomes who is better at the game of basketball, playing it. And then that I think is LeBron. I think he is better than Michael at playing the game of basketball. I know Mike went 6-0 in the finals. I understand that. Mike also lost 9 times in his career too. So he didn't just play 6 seasons. That kind of thing. I really don't want to sound like I'm bad mouthing Mike, though. I don't want to get into that kind of.
I think what you just said, that was the best explanation I've heard. You know what I'm saying? From what I'm saying, but I mean,
he still didn't tell us why LeBron is the greatest, though.
He said he was the better.
He told us why Mike is not. Oh, he says he's a better player. I'm trying to understand why Mike is not. I don't know. I mean, it's not first take, but.
I know your take. I think I know your take.
One of them people.
I know your take. You're saying the overall basketball player, we put him out there on the floor and his basketball skills, passing, shooting, rebounding.
That's kind of where I'm going with it, yeah.
Ability to win, defense. Okay, let's put them 5 categories out there. I think I named 5 of them. Okay, and then check the box.
I think you walked me into something. I like this.
I did not. I'm just saying. So if we say scoring, all right, scoring. Who is the better scorer?
Well, obviously, you got to say Bron because he got
more points.
I mean, all right. Let me stop.
Play longer, so he's gonna have 4 points.
That's why I'm like, are we going off stats? Or are we going off
from their game when you watch them play, who can score in more ways? Like who has a better pull-up, who has a better mid-range, who's a better three-point shooter, who's a better finisher at the basket. Those are the elements and the tiers that we're looking at when we're talking about scoring. Not the totality of the points, because we know LeBron played more years and he's going to have more points than Mike.
On less shots, you feel me? And a pass-first player. So I'm going to throw those out there. While Mike was a high-volume shooter and was not focused on getting everybody else involved.
But score, we just talked about scoring.
No, right? I'm saying.
So you got LeBron. Okay, we'll take the box. Score.
All of that.
So score is LeBron, you're saying?
Yeah.
right here. Score is LeBron.
No. Actually, no, you're right. Bron is the better scorer. I think they do it differently, though. You know what I mean? But I think Bron's the better scorer. That's what I stand behind.
37 in a season. He averaged 37. He can't. I don't know. Okay, so you got it. Okay. What about you?
I know he averaged 37. Man.
What's my take? I ain't messing with it.
He don't. Who's the better scorer? All right, who's the better passer?
All right. This is what I'm gonna say. I feel like it's. Don't take this the wrong way when I say this. I'm gonna say this. All right. I feel like that Jordan he was in a system for so long. It was tailor-made. The triangle offense was tailor-made for what he was doing. It was only like a couple 1-2 dribble pull-ups, getting to his spots, you know what I mean, and everything. And then prior to Field getting there, you saw his athleticism, but nobody on the floor was athletic. So it almost looked like he was just like this new generation talent that nobody never seen. Like at the time.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. So you telling me these cats right now is athletic?
With these cats now? It's a million guys running around here athletic. That don't mean they know how to play basketball.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. So because those guys weren't athletic, they had a different skill set and they knew how to play the game just a little bit. I mean, I don't know. I played in a lot of errors now. I played in 2 of them now.
That's why it's really on you.
Hey, we respect your opinion, Jay.
That's why, Ted, that's why it's really on you.
My whole point was I ain't going to say it was better. I know me because I'm a Mike fan. I grew up on him. Boom. I competed against LeBron, so I'm going to have a different take on it. And I beat him in the finals, so I'm going to really have a different take. But I got Mike only because, again, if I look at the totality of the player, right, all the phases, the guy was a 9-time all-defensive team, right? Defensive player of the year, I think it was 3 times. So, I mean, that alone, and then you had the MVPs and you had everything that LeBron got. I mean, it's kind of hard not to call him the GOAT. Then you say, LeBron, okay, you're wearing number 23, so LeBron gonna tell you Mike's the GOAT as well, I would think. But in all actuality, it's nothing wrong with that because LeBron is definitely top 5, no doubt about it. Why? He transcended the game. Nobody physically has ever been built like him, moving like him up and down that court. Now, Magic, similar build, but not with the athleticism of LeBron. Now, LeBron's basketball IQ, bar none, he is top 2 all-time basketball IQ. He's probably number 1. Like him and Magic got the same basketball IQ. Jason Kidd IQ was up there as well. But man, just he pushed people in place. But then if you talk about pure passing the basketball, I swear to God, man, that dude is the best passer I've ever seen. Like I love J Kidd to death. He could pass that ball, Steve Nash. But man, LeBron put that thing, man, for real, on the money. Like all you got to do is let it fly. Yeah. He's and realistically, if he had the Kobe Mamba mentality, it would be no question.
So let's just say that. Let's just end this conversation because that's
for real. That's all it is. That's all it is. But that's what makes LeBron great as well. Yeah. Like he's willing to sacrifice a part of his scoring ability to make everybody around him better. Jordan and Kobe weren't really willing to do that because they feel like I got the knife, I got the gun, I'm gonna kill you myself.
But you see in Last Dance, Jordan he can't. When did he start winning? When he kicked when he kicked it to Paxson. You feel me? Like I feel like he had.
I'll give you a stat today too on Mike that you might think is underrated, but in 88, 89. Michael Jordan had 9 straight triple doubles. He finished the season, he averaged 30, 9, and 10. And you know why? It's because halfway through the season, Coach Collins put him at point guard, and he had to play the point guard position. Sam Benson wasn't getting the job done. They was losing. They moved Mike to the point guard for the last 35 games, and he almost averaged a triple-double. He was 1 assist shy. So, I mean, the boy is phenomenal. The boy,
I mean, that's just he got a high usage.
And that's what I said. LeBron too. LeBron got the same usage rate. But LeBron's a GOAT. Any African American man that can take care of his family's family and put people in a better position than they are and empower people, they're the GOAT, man. I'm tired of people arguing against Mike. You start getting personal and you
That's why I don't have a take. I don't have a take, bro. Like that's why, like when you ask me, I'm like, I don't really have a take. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not gonna take away. I'm not gonna take away from what Brian is doing. I think a lot of times people only get on his head is because he different.
He lying to you, Jet. He lying to you.
Bro, I mess with you. I mess with you because I like to see you sweat and you get upset. You know what I'm saying? I do it to you because you start losing your mind, and you know that little part in your forehead start going crazy.
You gotta remember too, man. That boy put a whole city on his back, man. Left and came back and did it. That's
big.
That's great. Took the whole world looking at him.
All right, Jet. With you being all nice and everything, man.
Now I gotta ask a question because
2011, dog.
I've had to defend this, man, since 2011. It's really no defense I can give it. Look at Brian's career. This is the biggest blemish, the biggest bruise on his whole resume.
Man, don't be smiling like that, Jet, man.
You feel me? He likes that.
2011, huh? Yeah, man.
In my opinion, that's the biggest.
Getting swept. You didn't think getting swept was when he got swept?
Oh, bro. No. He wasn't expected to win.
07 sweep, I wouldn't say that's the biggest blemish. He didn't play well against y'all.
Right.
That's the biggest
one. We got one bad game.
Man, he averaged 17.8. He had a bad series, man. Come on.
No, that's called.
No. I was just
I need 2011 Jet on here right now.
I don't want to discredit nothing, man. I know I've even watched LeBron give y'all mad credit about growing his game. Dwayne Casey defense, his jump shot, the way y'all guarded him, y'all everything. I'm not discrediting the work y'all put in. I'm just saying, in my opinion, he had a bad series.
Right. He didn't have a typical series that he's used to. And a lot of that's predicated on the defense that we played, no doubt about it. We put multiple defenders on him. We played a zone defense that they obviously weren't prepared for. And he wasn't able to get to his looks. I mean, when he did get to his looks in transition, he was effective. But then what happened was something that I always tell all people, that when you're not as confident in your jump shot is if you hit 2 or 3 jump shots and you're not a jump shooter, we won. Because I think in game 3 or something, man, he hit 2 or 3 threes, and we were like, oh, man, shoot another one. And he kept settling a little bit, and he wasn't really putting that pressure on the rim like he was used to. And so that gave us an advantage. But, I mean, I don't think anything was denying us at that time, man. Like you said, with the guys we had on that team and the past experiences that they went through, they wasn't going to let nothing stop them. Brian could have averaged a triple-double in that series.
I mean, Dirk.
Look at y'all road.
Was on one, yo.
Dirk was on one.
The road y'all took was historic. Defending champ Lakers, OKC.
OKC with them young boys.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, they had me nervous. Because hey, look, if you go back to the film, man, about a month, I watched the film again, them boys was moving different. Like, LeBron and D-Wade, they moved. But Durant and Westbrook and James was moving at a whole nother speed, brother.
They was scary, bro.
They were scary. Like, if they would have had any kind of experience, championship level experience, that would have been a 7-game series. Because 2 of those games went down to the final shot. And, we just outlasted. But man.
Ibaka was supposed to be.
Man, if they would have kept them boys together, oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, who's to say they wouldn't have, like the Warriors, we might not even never heard of the Warriors if we would have kept that OKC team together. Sure. I don't know who they GM was.
I mean, Durant did have an opportunity to rematch it.
Yeah, but it just wasn't the same. I mean, it's KD and Russ, but you needed James. See, James gave them that third guy to take the pressure off. Yeah. Russ didn't have to make all the decisions. And that was a whip. They had a whip. Like,
I don't think, in my opinion, this is my opinion. I just feel like Russ is not a good half-court player. You know what I mean? That's just
he got to be in transition.
And that's just even talking about how you were just talking about with Brian. You know what I mean? Just even with that series. You know what I mean? Y'all knew that as long as we keep him out of transition, we really kind of got him not in order, but we can contain him a little bit better.
Yeah, you contain him. You can't stop the truck coming at you. No. When that truck is coming down the highway, boy, at 100 miles per hour with no brakes.
Pull over.
Hey, look, 2013, I seen that truck coming down the highway. I couldn't get out the way quick enough. Oh, wait. Oh, boy.
Hey, Jay.
You know what? Hey, man.
Somebody tapped on your shoulder.
Them is the only thing in my whole career, 19 years, I'm just thinking like, and I've been dunked on before, don't get me wrong. Ray Allen caught me something crazy. But I mean, it was just one of them instances, man. He was like, why did you do that?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't no stopping that, bro. I don't even know what you could have done, because I mean,
get out the way. Like,
but it's a playoff game for one. It's a playoff game for one, and you on transition defense. Somebody. You know what got me? See, I always had a rule when I was young growing up, man. If somebody stole the ball from you, you're supposed to get it back. And I had just got ripped. You was too thirsty.
And I was thirsty trying to get it back, man. And, oh, man. But one thing I can say about Brian, I'm always calling him one of the greatest for that, is because I'm a part of history for that one. That comes up every time around about March, man. They play that joint.
Yeah.
Man, what? I ain't gonna. That's why I had to ask you, because I gotta debate this. For the last decade, I done had to do this. So what was the game? What was? I mean, clearly y'all knew something that the world ain't know coming in. What was the game plan?
Well, the game plan was don't turn the ball over, right? Because if you do, they're gonna get out in transition. You can't stop them. The other rule was, see, we weren't prepared early for them to match up LeBron on me, right? He's a bigger defender, something that I hadn't had to face.
Time out.
Yeah.
Now, we've been talking about your defense and everything.
Right.
But I'm going to say this. I don't know if Brown was playing, passing lane defense.
Right.
But he had to pull his shorts up a little bit, because you was getting in him.
Man, he had to pull his shorts up, man. But see, I had to make him move and run, man. When you're a big body like that, you got to chase and get around screens and guard pick and rolls. See, he wasn't used to guarding the ball handler in the screening action. Me kicking the ball to Dirk, then he had to go play help, then it kicked back to me. Now he closing out. Like, them is just positions that he hadn't been put in. And so, I mean, if we had to play another series, he probably would have been more prepared for it, but it was just an adjustment that we made. Yeah. Like, and that's why I give Carlisle a lot of credit as one of the greatest tacticians as a coach that I've been a part of, because in the heat of the battle is where you really find out what type of coach you are. And in that moment, on the biggest stage, playing for the biggest prize, he made two of the greatest adjustments I've ever seen. One, he injected J.J. Barea, our smallest player, into the lineup to give us more speed, to give us more ball handling. And then two, he put me involved in the offense. Even if I wasn't getting a shot, he would run me around off screening actions to make the defense move and adjust to what I was doing, and that freed up everybody else. Yeah. So, those were two huge adjustments. Things that ordinarily a coach would be scared to go away from his bread and butter. Dirk's our guy. He's the guy we're featuring.
That's crazy.
For him to do that in the finals was big.
That's crazy. That's crazy to think about, what I'm saying? Because you're talking about, because I never really seen you in that light move, like, moving without the ball and putting you in different sets like that. That kind of helped you out a lot, because when you think about D-Wade in 06.
Yeah.
And how they was doing with him. He was getting a lot of them handoffs, and it would turn into a pick and roll.
Yeah.
That's hard to defend. So I think that's almost like the same situation that you was getting put in with LeBron, with him having to chase you. Because once he chase you, all right, now you're going into pick and roll, or you taking him off the dribble, because he might be lacking a little bit, because he playing like, Brian, he playing
he playing 40 minutes.
He playing 40 minutes, and he's playing a couple positions while he's guarding somebody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think.
See, I always thought they would put LeBron on Dirk, in that series as well. And they just allow Chris Bosh to kind of play him and Haslam. And I was like, oh, that's going to – I just seen what Dirk did against OKC, Perkins and the other boy. Like, that's not going to be good. Like, you might want to put your best player on our best player and but – I mean, you live and you learn, man. It was a great experience. Like I said, I can't take all the credit. I mean, when you got a point guard like Jason Kidd that's putting you in positions to be successful, that's thinking the game for you, it's not really much you have to do but run your routes and trust what he's telling you. Defensively, if you go watch that series and you watch Jason Kidd, a 36-year-old man, picking up LeBron James, the best player in the game at that time, full court, like that wears on you physically and mentally. The psyche of a person. Like, man, I got this old ass man, and he picking me up. Like, don't nobody pick me up full court. Like, he had to be thinking about some of that. I don't know. I ain't never asked him, but for me, I would have been thinking, like, man, ain't cool.
Now,
like, man, what do I got to do? And J. Kidd wasn't folding. Like, he was up in him. And then these thieves coming in, then Sean Marion, like, it was just different defenders. It was a lot for him to process, to go through in that particular moment. I definitely think it made him stronger as a player mentally and physically. I'm gonna tell one story that I've never told to nobody.
Hey.
And after we beat them, so I take the family. We always go to the Bahamas every year. So we in the Bahamas. I'm not expecting to see nobody but, you know, our regular vacationing people. Man, I see D Wade and LeBron. The elevator opens up. I'm taking my daughter's 18th birthday. I'm taking her to the club, and these cats let the elevator close on me. Oh, man, I know these cats just seen me walk up on this elevator, man. I say, hold up, man. What's going on around here? They can't still be mad about, you know what I'm saying?
Is this a true story?
They can't be mad about the finals. Like, come on now. I'm talking about Gabrielle Union, D-Wade, LeBron, and his people. They was on the elevator. The door opened up. As it's closing, we walked up. All you got to do is push. You've been in that situation. Somebody trying to get on the elevator, you just push the button, let them on, boom, we go up. They see me, and it's like, damn, did he say what's up or nothing? So I get up, go up the elevator, look at their little section. They not even making eye contact. I'm like, man, that shit must have really hurt, though. You know, then I hear his interviews. That really stung them people, man. But that was cold, man. That was cold. Way in another country, man, and these people don't even want to speak.
Tell me.
You know that hurt, bro.
That hurt. That hurt.
Bro, you walking around doing like this to folks, bro.
See,
That's where I'm going. Come on, man.
That's just me, man.
That's what I was about to ask you, because that's another thing that always, like, JT, you went and tatted the Larry O.B. on the bicep before the season.
Yeah, man. It's just one of them crazy things, man. Like, when you believe in something so much, you know, what are you willing to do? And then for me and that mom, I mean, it's just a tattoo. I got 22 of them. It's like, man, look, I believe it. We got the team to get it done. The tattoo artist is here. You know, man, what's that?
Tattoo artist is here. Put a Larry O.B. right here, man.
Larry O.B. right here, man. Let's go get it. And them boys believed it.
Yeah.
You know, all of them, man. Two of them, man. Stojakovic. I mean, I can't even talk about it.
Stojakovic was over there. See, man, come on, man. Y'all had a
squad, man, I'm telling you, Stojakovic, man, even though he wasn't moving the same, he could still shoot that thing, man. Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Brian Cardinal was an enforcer for us. I mean, we got some
the
good
dagger
dudes.
Triple.
Yeah.
You know, I know you had. What was going through your mind? Was that wasn't Drew up? You just like, man, he laying off easy.
No, for me, like I said, in 05, 06, in that particular series, I had the same shot in Game 6 to send the game to overtime. And Unc could tell you this. Unc had my jersey, bro. Why the referee didn't call it? He is literally holding my jersey as I'm releasing to shoot the game-winning three from that same spot, the game-tying three from that same spot. And so to end all my workouts from 06 all the way to 2011 to the night before that game in Game 5, I would go to that spot and I would make 25 from that same spot. My little patented, hezzy pull-up move from that same spot. I had to end every workout like that. And that's kind of some of the things that used to just drive me. Like, I would do little things like that. And not knowing, like, Game 5, okay, big moment, game sealing shot or whatever, it will come to fruition. But, man, it came to life. And I didn't care who was on me, LeBron. It didn't matter in that moment. I mean, the ball was there. It's in my go-to spot. Man, squeeze. And that was a kill shot for sure.
Definitely. Sure. Now, I read a funny fact about you, that you have a pair of shorts from every NBA team except for one team.
Hold on, man. What's me? I got the Sacramento joints on right now. Okay.
What's the one thing you never got?
Man, I'm telling you, man, San Antonio, man, they don't come off nothing. Them boys, man, they're so stingy. I mean, I had Sean Elliott over there. I had Richard Jefferson, two of my guys. Boris Diaw was my rookie in Atlanta. He played for him. they would not come off. Them shorts are sacred. Only pair I ain't got. I even got a pair of John Stockton joints. You know, and Stockton don't give away nothing.
Right.
I even got the Miami Heat joints. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So, yeah, I got the Lakers. Like, I got every single team, bro.
Yeah.
But,
come on, Spurs. Hook my guy up with some shorts. Y'all playing, man.
I think one time I did swindle one of the ball boys. He throw 2 in the bag. I look in the bag. Man, it was the practice shorts. I was like, man, I don't want them joints. Them ain't authentic. You know what I mean?
So, man, you know, you have a legendary career in Dallas, man. They forever love you, man. So I know that's a huge accomplishment. A lot of guys don't have that. Even guys that's had probably even more successful careers than you don't have that. Have a team that they can, you know, that they can hold on to, that appreciate them, that they had a moment with. And I know that's big for you, man, to be able to have, you know, Dallas in your back pocket like that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And for me, every city, every team I played for, I always tried to be a part of the community and give back and make sure my foundation was visible so I can impact lives. I mean, that's what it's been all about for me since I made it. Somebody did it for me, so I feel like it's my duty and my responsibility to give back. Dallas, I was here for 8 years, and, you know, a lot of my kids have friends here. They went to school here. They grew up here. And so this community really embraced us and made it like it's home.
Yeah.
And so we've always called Dallas our home, and it's just been a blessing, man. It's just been truly a blessing. I wanted to retire a Maverick. That wasn't able to happen, but what I will say, it was kind of a blessing because I got to play for 2 or 3 historic franchises after that.
Yeah.
From Dallas, I went to Boston. Like, I played 1 year for Boston, bro. And when I tell you these people, it's like I was on one of the championship teams. Like, when I go back to Boston, the city of Boston, how I'm received in the airport and wherever I go around there, they're like, man, you a Celtic for life. Like, we only had 1 season.
Only 1 season.
Yeah, 1 season.
And you replaced Ray. So
man, they treat me like royalty, man. But then I was part of the Houston Rockets. Like, that was a big time Dallas Maverick rivalry, was Dallas and Houston. And then growing up as a fan, Houston always used to knock off my Sonics. But then to be in practice and see Hakeem Olajuwon down at the other end working with the big men and, you know, walking through them hallways, the same hallways as Hakeem and Ralph Sampson, even Kenny the Smith, you know, to walk the hallway, that was a shot if you didn't know it. Kenny the Smith, no jet.
You know I got that. You know I got that.
You know what I mean? But to walk those hallways of those guys, man, that was great being with them for 2 years. And then being in Milwaukee. A lot of people know the history of Milwaukee, man. It was a segregated city for a long time and kind of still is. But to go into a city like that for my last 2 years of my career and to be a part of that community and see how a young star like Giannis Antetokounmpo was coming into his own and to be a part of his development, to see where he is now was a phenomenal experience. And then also I got to meet, now I had met Kareem several times in passing. But to actually sit with Kareem and have a conversation with him as a Milwaukee Buck was just truly, and we talk about the GOAT and greatest of all time, like, he has to be in that conversation. Absolutely. Like, the man is a Hall of Famer with 2 different names. Like, y'all playing. Like, Kareem is the real deal, 100%. And he was just a real one, man. And so I'm just thankful, man. Like I said, I'll always be a Maverick for life, but every organization that I've been blessed to be a part of, I always keep a special place for them in my heart.